Safe Kids lecture on internet safety. Our mission is to help educate parents and administrators about current risky behaviors. Internet safety is one of the topics that we chose this year because our kids are spending more time than ever online. Nat Evans is the Senior Investigative Analyst / Electronic Detection Canine Handler for the Pennsylvania Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. He works out of the Criminal Investigation Division in the DA's office. Nat, welcome to our Radnor community. We're excited to have you here. And if anyone has any questions, you can feel free to put them in the chat. And Carrie and I will facilitate answering questions at the end of the lecture. So Nat, I'm going to turn it over to you, and everyone enjoy the show.
All right, good morning. Like you just heard, my name is Nat Evans. I am the Senior Investigative Analyst / Electronic Detection Canine Handler. What that means is I have a police canine that is trained to find hidden electronics, everything from SD cards, thumb drives, computer parts, cell phones, parts to cell phones, the remote controls to televisions, which is really good if you have small kids like I do. But that's just one of the things that I do. As far as the task force, the Pennsylvania ICAC task force, as we call it, or Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, is a task force that's funded from the Department of Justice through their Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. It's a grant to help state and local law enforcement combat internet-related child sexual exploitation. It was a grant that was awarded to the Delaware County District Attorney's Office in 2000. And it was around 2000 where law enforcement realized that predators, were no longer driving around looking for kids. They were, and offering the free ride home and whatnot. They were going to the internet where they could hide their identities. Every area of the state of Pennsylvania is covered by an ICAC trained investigator, either state or local law enforcement. We also work with our federal law enforcement partners. And once again, every state within the United States has an ICAC task force. We coordinate directly with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children down in Alexandria, Virginia. That's actually where I got my start in this as an analyst with the National Center. Like I said before, we coordinate directly with state, local, federal, and international law enforcement. We have cases that have either started or ended here in Pennsylvania that have stretched all the way around the globe. And therefore, we have international law enforcement that we can work with to solve those crimes. And then, of course, the other side to the ICAC task force is community outreach, school presentations, which is what I do. Okay, internet-related child sexual exploitation. What is it? Okay, most of the time when you hear about an ICAC-related case in the media, it normally involves some form of child pornography, or as we like to call it, images or videos that depict the sexual abuse of children, either the manufacturing, possession, or distribution of that content through the internet. Online enticement of children. Basically, online enticement is individuals who will use the internet to hide their identity, to get children to do things that they would normally not do, such as produce sexually explicit images or videos, or in some cases, they actually get these children to run away from home. Cyberbullying, sexting, I want to go into those in a little bit. We actually have statutes right now in the state of Pennsylvania that deal specifically with juveniles that either cyberbully or sext, and child prostitution. Child prostitution, when you think about it, people think, oh, it's kids that are being prostituted as kids. A lot of times what child prostitution is, It involves teenage girls that end up on the street for whatever reason. They run away from home, and they end up getting into the lifestyle, into that lifestyle in order to make money. And once they get in, they cannot get out. Most of the time, these girls are being prostituted as adults, even though they're as young as, in some cases, as 12, 13 years old. Okay, this law, all right, this is a federal law, Title 18, United States Code 2258A. This law requires every internet service provider, okay, those are companies like Comcast, Verizon, Sprint, and every electronic service provider. An electronic service provider would be companies like Facebook, Instagram, Omegle, Kik, Snapchat, okay. This law requires that if they are located within the United States, okay, their company, they have to report any type of child exploitation, child sexual exploitation on their networks directly to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The National Center is congressionally mandated to receive this information. The National Center receives that, and then they determine where in the world the incident occurred, either where the victim is or where the suspect is. Anything involving the state of Pennsylvania goes directly to my desk or to my partner's desk. We get that information, and then we determine where in the state of Pennsylvania it occurred. You know, where's the victim at? Where's the suspect at? If it's anything involving Delaware County, we have 3 ICAC trained detectives that we can give those reports to, and then they can take it further. If it involves somewhere outside of Delaware County, we have, like I said earlier, we have state and local law enforcement all across the state of Pennsylvania that we can refer those cases to. Just to give you an idea of the volume that we have received, since the pandemic hit, we were normally receiving around 6,000 of these complaints a year. Last year, since the pandemic, we were at close to 10,000. Just last month, we received 1,000 of these complaints, and it's because everybody is online. Everybody's at home. Everybody's virtual. Everybody's online, including child predators. All right, the golden rule for online behavior: think before you post, because you cannot take it back. Once you put something on the internet, it has the potential to be there forever. And most kids do not understand that. They think that they can post whatever they want, or they can share whatever they want, and then they can delete it, and then it's gone. All right. They don't realize that someone could have seen it, save it, do whatever they want to it, Photoshop it, and then put it out there on the internet. Okay, it gets deleted off the internet. Guess what? They have a copy of it. They can put it anywhere else they want. All right, profiles. Okay, social media, they can be viewed by basically anyone. All right, colleges and universities. Right now, most major colleges and universities will do a basic background check on applicants. And the reason they do that is they're trying to be proactive. Okay, a lot of colleges have had issues with students doing things. They take pictures of it, videos of it, they put it online, they put it on their social media, and then the next thing you know, the school ends up getting dragged into the media because one of their students did something, and they had the school's name on something, and now the school's in the media spotlight. So they are doing basic background checks. I have talked to people that do this for a living. They work in the admissions office, and they'll have a stack of applicants, and all they're doing is they're just looking to see if that applicant has social media or see what they're posting. And they have told me we have had applicants that had perfect scores, all the recommendations, and then we saw a social media profile, or we saw something that they had posted, and we determined that we don't particularly want that person representing our school. Same thing with employers. Okay, if you want a job, for example, in the district attorney's office in the criminal investigation division, you have to give them complete access to all your social media. during the employment process. And, you know, I've known people, I'm sure we've all known people that have gotten in trouble at work because of things that they have posted on their social media. All right. And of course, online predators. Okay. Online predators are viewing all of your kids' profiles. All right. The big misconception about internet child predators is that they are the creepy old guy living with his parents, probably mid-40s, all right, lives in the basement of his parents' house, and he stays up all night long chatting with kids. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Internet predators can be anyone, male or female, any age. I'm going to show you an example of someone who was a high school student who was an online predator. And they are the absolute experts at getting someone to do something they would normally not do. For example, I'm used to doing this presentation in front of a live audience. This is actually a trick question. Everyone on here is an internet predator. They have all been arrested through an ICAC task force. The majority of them, actually, except for the two in the top. The one on the left and the one in the middle. The one on the far left was from the TV show Glee. And then, of course, the guy in the middle is Jared Fogle from Subway. He was actually arrested because of an electronic detection canine. They did a search warrant at his house looking for child pornography. They did not find anything. They brought the dog in, and the dog was able to locate a thumb drive he had hidden underneath his desk. Basically, everyone on this slide here is a child predator of some form. The person on the bottom left, that's Derek Jones. Derek Jones was a high school student here in Delaware County. And he would go online and he would pose as a 14-year-old high school girl. And he would then go and message boys that he went to school with that he knew, pretending to be this 14-year-old girl. And he would get them to produce sexually explicit content for him. Once he received that content, he would then turn around and blackmail them. He would tell them, if you don't send me more pictures or videos, then I'm going to turn around and take what I have that you've already sent me, and I'm going to post it online. He was caught because one of his victims reached out to his older sister and explained to her what was going on. And then she, in turn, contacted the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children and made a report. They got the report. They realized it was taking place in Pennsylvania. They sent it up to us. And a few weeks later, we were able to discover that this 14-year-old girl named Haley was actually a 17-year-old named Derek Jones. This was a case that we literally just had this past year. This was Geoffrey Hines. We were receiving numerous reports from a company called Twitch. I'm going to get into Twitch, but basically Twitch allows gamers to view or to broadcast the game that they are actually playing. So Geoffrey Hines would go into Twitch and he would watch juvenile males playing video games. He would then join the conversation and he would offer them digital download gaming gift cards, such as Xbox. What that means is a digital download, you basically can go to Walmart.com or Amazon and you can purchase a digital gift card for, say, Xbox. And everything's electronic. There's no actual gift card. So what he would do is he would offer these juveniles a gift card if they expose themselves online. And you would be surprised how many of these kids would do it, knowing that they were getting a free gift card to play more games. So far, I believe this is still an ongoing, he's already been arrested, but it's still an ongoing case. Right now, I believe the victim list is well over 100 all around the world. Okay, cyberbullying. Basically, cyberbullying, you know, as an adult, as somebody like the majority of us that grew up without cell phones, without social media, cyberbullying is kind of hard to understand because we never had to deal with it. We never had to worry about, you know, somebody posting a photo of us online that they had photoshopped. And, you know, the bullying that we experienced was playground bullying, bullying at school. But when you went home, you didn't have to worry about it. Well, with cyberbullying, it's constant, okay? It never ends, all right? Kids are getting text messages late at night. They're seeing the Photoshop pictures of them. And it's for whatever reason. Some of the big ones, relationship issues, boyfriend, girlfriend break up. So the new girlfriend decides to go after the old girlfriend, or the new boyfriend goes after the old boyfriend. So they've done some statistics on this. They say the average, you know, teen sends around 60 messages a day. I think that's way low. Most kids today, I honestly, I don't know how they can text that fast. I have a 17-year-old niece, and I have never seen someone that can text as fast as she does. But the main thing out of this is, you know, 6 out of 10 teens actually report that they're being bullied. 1 in 10 actually reports it to their parents. And then of that, one out of 5 actually reports it to law enforcement. Cyberbullying is very serious, okay? You know, there are kids that are ending their lives because of what people are saying about them online. To give you an example, this was Gabriella Green. She was being bullied, okay, online. So she decided to reach out to one of her internet friends, and she basically told him, you know, what was going on, blah, blah, blah. And she said, you know, I was thinking about ending my life. And as a joke, his response to her was, well, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it. And unfortunately, she did. He ended up getting charged for that, okay? This was Brandy Vela, another example. She actually committed suicide right in front of her parents when they returned home from work. And they ended up discovering that it was all because of cyberbullying. People were making inappropriate comments on, I believe it was her Instagram account, on her photos. They were making fun of her weight. Like I said, it can be a variety of reasons on why they single out a child to pick on them. Okay, and it's normally, you know, it's rare that we see it's one child versus another. It's normally a group of kids will gang up. They'll single out another child and they go after them brutally. In the state of Pennsylvania, we have, I'm trying to think what I can see here. Title 18, I can't really see it because I've got the status bar in front of me. It's basically cyber harassment of a child by a child. What this means is if you are under the age of 18 and you harass, bully, threaten, humiliate another peer, okay, that's somebody else under the age of 18, through any type of electronic device or electronic social media, you can and will be charged for it. All right. This law became effective in 2015, and it was because around 2015, we were seeing such an influx of reports involving cyberbullying, and there really wasn't much that we could do when it involved a juvenile. Right now in Delaware County, each county handles this statute differently. For example, some counties, they make the children, when they get caught, write an essay as to why it's wrong. In Delaware County, when they get caught, they will have to come into the courthouse with a parent or guardian and attend an internet safety class. It is a class that is taught by my partner at work. It's on a day that she chooses. If you fail to show up for the class, it constitutes a failure. If you fail the class, don't show up, what will happen is then you have to go before a juvenile court judge, okay? Right now, as far as I'm aware, we have not had any repeat offenders. This is a one and done deal. You don't get to, it's not like you can, I got caught cyberbullying, went to the class, so I want to go do it again. If you do it again, you have to deal you have to go straight, you're going to end up dealing with the juvenile system. This is the actual statute right here, straight from the Pennsylvania Crimes Code. For those that are not aware of what the Pennsylvania Crimes Code is, it's basically a book that has every single law statute in it for the state of Pennsylvania. So if your kids do not believe you when you tell them about it, you can always show them this. You can do a Google search and you can find the Pennsylvania cyberbullying statute. I will tell you every month, at least up until the pandemic hit, every month, my partner had at least 3 or 4 kids that would have to come in every month that got in trouble for cyberbullying. Now, if you discover that your child is being cyberbullied, okay, the main thing is make sure your child's safe, okay? We always tell parents, call law enforcement, get them involved. We do get parents that sometimes, I'm trying to think how to put this. With cyberbullying, it's continuous, okay? We will get parents that will call up and say, oh, somebody went on my child's YouTube account and said their video sucks. Well, that's, are they continuing to do that? Are they constantly posting with derogatory comments about your child? Okay, that's cyberbullying. If it's just one comment on a video or a post like, oh, that sucks. Well, that's not technically cyberbullying, okay? It's not continuous. But the big thing is do not respond to it. We get parents that want to stand up for their child, okay, rightfully so. But don't go and try to bully the bully. Okay, we've had parents that have done that before and wound up getting into trouble themselves. Whatever it is, whether it's a Photoshop picture, text messages, whatever it is, try and save it set up a new account for your child. But the biggest thing, if you believe your child is in danger, contact local law enforcement. Okay, get them involved. We have had cases before. One that stands out in my memory, it was probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night in the middle of the week, and we got a phone call from the National Center basically saying, we got this report from a parent saying that her daughter came home from school, got off the school bus and told me that her best friend had met somebody online, is now being blackmailed and was thinking about killing herself. All right, within probably 30 minutes from receiving that report, we actually had state police at that house to make sure to do a welfare check on the child to make sure that she was fine, which she was. So the biggest thing with cyberbullying is you need to report it. And the same thing with your kids. Tell your kids, if one of your friends is being bullied, being picked on, tell them to stand up for them. Tell them to go tell somebody about it. Okay, make a report on it. Okay, sexting. I will tell you of the large number of reports that we're receiving, a good chunk of those deal with sexting. If you're not familiar with what sexting is, it is the sending or receiving of sexually suggestive or explicit text, images, or videos via one's cell phone or other electronic means. Okay, right now it's pretty much, I would have to say 95% through cell phones, okay? This is an example really of when sexting kind of hit the national spotlight. It happened up in Allentown. It was, a student came into school one day and he had a flip phone. I will tell you right now, if you ask your kids what a cell phone looked like when we were their age, the number one answer I get is flip phone, okay? Kids think that everybody has had cell phones since the beginning of time, all right? Kids don't realize when we were their age, a cell phone was a big chunk of plastic with a rubber antenna, and all it did was make calls. Or if you were really cool, you had what we called the bag phone, which was exactly the way it sounds. It was a phone in a bag, okay? But anyway, somebody had come into the high school with a flip phone, and on that flip phone was a sexually explicit video of 2 other students from that school. And by lunchtime, half of the school had it because everybody was texting it back and forth. The school administration found out. They contacted the local state police. State police showed up. And they said, if you want us to get involved, we're going to have to charge every single one of those students with possession and distribution of child pornography. Yeah, in the state of Pennsylvania, one count of that, you're looking at prison time. Okay, it's a felony. The parents found out, the media found out, and they said, this is ridiculous. You can't punish these kids like that. You know, they'll end up on Megan's Law. They'll never get into college. They won't get good jobs. You're going to destroy their future. So they ended up adjudicating it all through the juvenile system. And basically, they just seized the phones that were involved, thinking that this was a one-time incident, wouldn't have to worry about it. Unfortunately, sexting got bad, okay, to the point where the state legislator came up with Pennsylvania Crime Code Title 18, Section 6321, okay? And what this law does is it allows law enforcement to charge someone under the age of 18 for either creating or distributing or possessing a sexually explicit image of themselves or someone else under the age of 18. All right. I know that sounds scary when you say law enforcement now charge juvenile. This law and the cyberbullying law were never designed as punishment for kids. They were designed as a way to help law enforcement get the point across to children that these images, these videos, number one, can follow them for the rest of their life. Number two, could potentially damage their future. And that if someone over the age of 18, an adult, were to be in possession of those images, they're facing very serious criminal penalties. Child pornography, okay, is a image or video depiction of anyone under the age of 18, okay, in a pornographic manner, okay. The way this law was designed, okay, it's a misdemeanor or summary offense, which means when they get caught, okay. So say your child's using Snapchat, okay, Snapchat is located within the United States. They monitor their accounts, at least they try to. And so if they send a sexually explicit image through their Snapchat and Snapchat can determine that that account is owned by a juvenile, it will get reported to the National Center. So like I said, it's a misdemeanor or summary offense on the first offense, okay? So if they've already gotten caught cyberbullying, this will count as a second offense. So that means that more than likely they will not be allowed to retake that diversionary program class. Now, the way that this statute is written at the very bottom, okay, it says forfeiture. Any electronic communication device used in violation of this section shall be subject to forfeiture to the Commonwealth, and no property right shall exist in it. Just like the cyberbullying statute, each county handles this differently. Okay, Delaware County, they have to go to the diversionary program. Okay, the Delaware County Sexting Diversionary Program, it's basically the same thing as the cyberbullying class. It's taught by my partner. Same rules apply. It's a one and done deal. You don't get to keep taking the class. If you don't show up for the class, if you're late for the class starts exactly at 4 o'clock, at 4:30. If you show up at 4:30, you were late. Okay, the door is locked and you cannot get in. As far as the forfeiture here, that is at the discretion of the district attorney. Okay, it's a case-by-case basis. Okay, not everybody does get their cell phone back. Okay, we have boxes in our evidence room of nothing but cell phones that have been confiscated from juveniles that were used to either sext or to cyberbully. And a lot of times the sexting and cyberbullying go hand in hand. And what I mean by that is you get a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the situation is, they decide to exchange pictures or videos. And then they break up. Well, now the other one, they both have these pictures and videos. So to get back at the other one, they take those pictures and videos and then go post them somewhere, okay, to bully that person. This is an example here of a high school student several years ago up in Montgomery County. He had created a Dropbox account, and inside his Dropbox account, he had put numerous pictures and videos of girls that he went to high school with. He created the account when he was a senior, when he was 17, but he had turned 18 when they found out about it. So he was actually looking at possession and distribution of child pornography charges. However, he was fortunate that they adjudicated it through the juvenile system. But I use this as an example, especially for high school parents, okay? You could have a son or a daughter that is in a consensual sexual relationship with, if they are 18, with say a 16-year-old. Now, if your child who is 18 years old videotapes it or takes a picture of that sexual encounter, or gets that 16 or 17-year-old to send them a sexually explicit image or video, by law, okay, they have just produced child pornography. Now, I don't want to scare you into thinking that, oh my God, my child's going to be charged as an adult, you know, because they're 18, they're dating a 16-year-old. I've talked to deputy district attorneys before who have said, no, we would not charge them with possession or manufacturing child pornography. But as the 18-year-old, we would consider charging them with corruption of a minor, okay? So that's something, you know, that high school kids need to think about, okay? When they hit 18, by law, they're an adult, okay? So they need to think about, you know, before they get their boyfriend or their girlfriend who say is 17 or 16 to send them an explicit picture, okay? They need to think about that before they go and do that, because they are, in the eyes of the law, an adult. All right, okay. Now we're gonna move in real quick here to some of the apps that are out there. For example, this is Secret Messenger. This is something that Facebook created on their own, and the reason they did that was because they tried to purchase Snapchat because they realized how popular Snapchat was with kids. The reason why Snapchat, or I'm sorry, not Snapchat, the reason why Facebook is still in existence is because, well, most of the old people like us have profiles there, but they go around and they buy up apps that they think are going to be popular. For example, Instagram. Okay, Facebook owns Instagram. But anyway, they tried to purchase Snapchat. Snapchat turned them down, so Facebook created their own version. Okay, for those of you that are not familiar with Snapchat, Snapchat allows somebody to send a picture or video, and the recipient, they can then set how long the recipient has to view that content, and then once they view it, it's supposed to be deleted off of Snapchat servers. And the person that received it can't save it, and if they do, the person that sent it will get notified. So Secret Messenger is basically the same thing that Facebook came out with. I will tell you, your kids are not in Facebook. Okay, Facebook is for the old people. However, most kids do have a Facebook account. So this is just something to keep in the back of your mind. A lot of people are not aware that this even exists. But when you open up your Messenger app, okay, this is on a Apple device. Up in the upper right corner, there should be a little button when you go in to create a new message, and it'll say secret. You push the secret button, and then it allows you to set the timer as to how long the person that receives the content can view it. All right. Then this is just my partner and I going back and forth here. I sent her a message. Then as soon as she viewed it, it grays out. So even if we go in to look at that, you're not going to be able to see it. And Facebook has actually said that the messages that get sent are encrypted between device, which means Facebook can't even see what is being sent. This is just, she sent me GPS coordinates to where she was, okay? And I just use that as an example because I don't think kids are aware of that. Hopefully there's no kids on this presentation. But I don't think kids are aware of that. And it is a little more time consuming than say Snapchat. Okay, there's more more options you have to push than you would with Snapchat. And of course, kids want things to be as easy as possible, so they're still with Snapchat. But I just want to make parents aware that Facebook does have that ability. Live streaming apps, these kids love these. Okay, Instagram, Periscope, YouNow. YouNow is actually, it's an app and a website. You do not have to have an account to go to YouNow and view somebody's live stream. Okay, and what I mean by that is you can just go to younow.com and you can just select whatever live stream live stream that you want to watch. For example, we see a lot of middle and high school girls that will turn on YouNow on their cell phone, and they'll sit there for hours and hours just talking about what they did, what they're doing. And it is amazing when you go on YouNow, you can see it, there's these high school girls and they're just broadcasting their entire life. Facebook live stream, more coot, that used to be popular, starting to die off a little bit. Live stream, and it's just an example of Twitch. Okay, I'm highlighting Twitch because we didn't really see a whole lot with Twitch up until we had that case recently. It's a live streaming app for online gaming. So basically you get kids there, and I have seen kids as young as probably 9 years old on Twitch. Okay, and it's because they're using Twitch to broadcast the game that they're playing. And then other Twitch users will go in just so they can watch somebody else playing a video game. And then you end up with people like Geoffrey Hines that will go in there to exploit children, because it was very easy. All he had to do, he'd go into Twitch, he'd watch a child playing a game, he'd send him a message, hey, how would you like to get a free gift card? And it went from there. And all he had to do was log into Walmart.com or Amazon, buy the gift card, and then send the link to the child once they produce the content for him. Twitch, by the way, is located in the United States. That's how we were made aware of it. They started reporting all these chat logs in videos to us involving Mr. Hines. Snapchat. My issue with Snapchat is it's designed to allow a user to send a video or an image and then believe that once the person viewed it that they sent it to, it's then deleted. And if the person tries to screen capture it, if you're not familiar with screen capturing is, you hit the home button and the power button on the device, and it takes a picture of everything that is on the screen. And the way Snapchat is designed, or at least it's supposed to work this way, is that if somebody screen captures something, the person that sent it will be notified by Snapchat that the person that received it screen captured it. There have been many instances where that notification does not go through for whatever reason. There's issues with bugs in operating systems. You'd be surprised how many children today have more than one device that has a camera on it. Okay, and what they do is they take that device, the person on Snapchat, they send them the picture, they take the other device out and they take a screen capture. Now they have whatever that was, a video, picture, and that notification from Snapchat will never go through because the person used another device to take a picture of a picture. We get issues, so Snapchat, in my opinion, gives kids, especially children, it gives children a false sense of security to where, they think, oh, I can send a picture and it'll be deleted and I don't have to worry about it. Okay. And then all of a sudden, a couple years later, they start getting weird messages from people. And it's because that picture that they sent that they thought was deleted is now floating in cyberspace. We have had adults that have contacted our office about pictures that they took in high school that are now resurfacing, and they can't figure it out why. And it's because they sent it to somebody who they thought they trusted. That person saved it, and now they went and took it and put it on a blog site that's being hosted outside of the United States, which means we are going to have a very hard time getting that picture removed. All right, what a lot of people don't realize is there's not one person that controls the internet. Okay, there's not one person that we can call and say, hey, there's an image floating around on this blog site being hosted out of this country, and we need that picture taken down because it's a child in it. Okay, there's not one person that we can call to get that taken care of. Secret apps, okay, along the lines of, you know, hiding stuff from mom and dad, these change monthly. There are tons of them out there, okay. Vultee. Vultee is an app that once it's downloaded, you can hide whatever you want, whether it's other apps, content, you know, pictures, videos, text message, whatever you want in Vultee, then you can password protect it. And if somebody tries to access that app and puts the incorrect password in, the camera on the phone will go off and take a picture of the person holding the device. So kids love that, especially at school when, you know, they are going in person, to where they can put their phone down and not have to worry, because if it takes a picture, okay, well, if somebody tries to access that app, it's going to take a picture of the person that was holding the phone. Some of the other things kids can do. The other thing I will tell you is YouTube is a wealth of information for kids. Okay, they can go into YouTube and they can watch videos on how to hide things on their devices. All right. There are ways that you can hide apps. Basically, you make the icon disappear from the home screen. Okay, so when you go to look at your child's cell phone, you're going through, oh, okay, there's no this, no that, no this, no that. Then you give them the phone back. You think everything's fine. Well, what they do is they shut the phone off, restart it, and whatever they had hidden from the home screen now reappears. All right, so that's why I tell parents, when you go to check your children's devices, okay, and randomly check their devices. Don't set up a time like, say, Sunday at 7 o'clock, we're checking everyone's devices. Because at 6:30, your kids are going to be going through their devices and they're going to be hiding what they're not supposed to have. So when you do randomly check your kids' phones, shut them off and restart them, okay? Because then you're going to know whether or not the password to that device has been changed. And number two, anything that was hidden within the operating system, as far as the icons go, they're going to reappear. Some of the sexting slang that's out there, and I can tell you this has changed tremendously. When I first started doing this, we were dealing with AOL chat rooms. So you were looking at things like ASL, age, sex, location. Now you've got emojis for different body parts, different slang, Netflix and chill, which basically means, hey, why don't you, let's get together and have sex, okay? You know, basic, it's referring to someone who's boring, okay? MOS, that still hasn't changed. We used to have POS, which meant parent over shoulder, not, you know, what you're thinking, but now it's moved to mom over shoulder. But these are just some of the other ones. If you're worried about your children and using drugs, dabbing, okay? Dabbing is a reference to smoking cannabis, okay? So these are just some of the things that you should be aware of that kids all know. All right. Safer social networking. Okay, whatever apps you allow your children to use, you should know how they work. All right. One of the biggest issues, or one of the biggest issues I have, is when a parent says, I don't even know how to get email on my phone. I had my son set it up for me. Wrong. Okay. Your child should not be the one that knows more about, you know, the app that they're using than you do, okay? As the parent or guardian, okay, you should have complete access to, number one, all their devices and all their social media, which means you have the username and password to all those accounts. And the reason for that is in the event something happens. All right, you come home from work, your child's not home. Where are they? You call the local police department shows up and they say, well, one of the top questions they're going to be asking is, does your child have social media? Yes, they do. Okay, what do they have? Well, they have Instagram. What's the account information? I don't know. In order for us to get that information, we then have to get a judge to sign an order. We then have to send that order off to Facebook, who owns Instagram. Their legal department has to look at it, verify it, then they will provide us access into that account. That could take hours. All right. And when you're talking about a runaway child or a missing child, those cases within several hours, that child could be in another state. Okay. We've actually had situations where this actually occurred. Law enforcement showed up, the parents did not have the account information. It took us a couple hours. Within that couple of hours, that child was 2 states away. And we knew that because once we got in the account, the child was updating everywhere they were going. We were very fortunate to recover her unharmed, but we put that out there that as the parent or guardian, you should have that information. The other one, do not allow your kids to go to bed with their phone, okay? I see the sexting, I see the cyberbullying, and it's not going on when the child is sitting down on the couch watching TV, okay, where everybody else can see them. It's going on when they're alone in their bedroom or in their bathroom, okay? So we tell parents, don't let them go to bed with their phone. Set up a curfew, okay, at whatever the curfew is, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever it is you set up. The devices go off, you get them, okay? You can say there's you set up a charging station somewhere, and that's where the devices go. Plus, it allows you to go through them and see what they're doing online, okay? It's not to be nosy, it's to protect them. One of the biggest things I hear is from parents that say, oh, well, my son uses his cell phone as an alarm clock to wake up to go to school. Well, guess what? You can still go down to the Walmart and buy yourself a alarm clock that does not have the internet on it for a couple bucks. But that's the big thing. I mean, it's amazing how much this has changed. When I first started doing this, we would tell parents, make sure the home computer is in a centralized location where you can walk by and see what's on the screen. Well, now, you're holding on the device. Now the devices are smaller. The kids are in their bedroom. You have no idea what they're doing. Okay. Remember, there's absolutely no expectation of privacy on the internet. Posting information, images, or text can damage reputation and future education and career plans. And I can tell you it does happen. Okay. There are kids that lose out on a scholarship, lose out on a academic or athletic scholarship. Kids that, adults that are losing out on career plans because of things that they have posted online. The cyber tip line, this is where you can go to make a complaint, okay? You can tell your kids about this. We get kids that for whatever reason, they're too embarrassed to tell their parents, so they'll go here, cybertipline.com, or they call it in, 1-800-THE-LOST. The Derek Jones case, that all started because one of his victims went to an older sister, told her what was going on, and she then went and contacted the National Center. Everything that goes to the National Center that involves Pennsylvania goes directly to either my desk or my partner's desk. I put this slide up here for one reason, okay? Last night, the internet stopped working. I spent a few hours with my family. They seem like nice people, okay? As parents, we have to be the ones to set the example, and I'm just as guilty, okay? You're at the dinner table, you're so used to having the world at your fingertips. Ooh, let's see what's going on in the news. Let's see what's happening here. Let's check the weather. Let me just quickly get on my Facebook. Okay, your kids are watching you, okay? So to them, well, if mom and dad are doing it, why can't I do it, right? You're at a traffic light. Kids are in the back seat. The light's red. So let me go check my Facebook real quick. Let me go look on my Instagram. Let me send a quick text. Your kids are watching that. All right. So as adults, we have to set, as parents, we have to set the example. Okay. Try and set up a system. Well, you know what? It's dinner time. Devices are off. Between these hours, the devices are going off because kids today, their entire world is through that device. This is my contact information. If anybody needs, if you want to give me a call, shoot me an email. I will say email is the best way to get a hold of me because of Charlie. We're constantly on the move. doing search warrants. Onlinesafety.com, that is our ICAC, our Pennsylvania ICAC website that has a ton of resources on there for parents. We have a Facebook page. My partner constantly updates that. She'll have success stories on there, some of the mugshots of the people that we arrest. And the CyberTipline run by the National Center, where you can go and make a report. I'm open for questions.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yep.
That was great, Nat. Thanks for sharing all of that
You're welcome.
information. It was a bit overwhelming and disturbing at the same time.
It is.
I was wondering, is there a place where we could sign up to get notifications about current problems that we should be addressing with our kids?
I do this type of presentation for kids. Okay, I have not done any since the pandemic hit. But as far as notifications about what's going on in the community, I don't know of anything that specifically deals with this type of stuff. I would say you can follow our websites, our Facebook page. Rosanna is constantly adding stuff there, like trends that we're seeing. You know, kids are going from, kids are constantly evolving with social media. It was big with Facebook, then they jumped to Instagram, then Snapchat. Now they're coming back around to Instagram. They're constantly, but she'll put that stuff on either our Facebook page or our website. Another one that is a wealth of information is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They have an entire unit that just does community outreach stuff, training videos involving, internet safety that are age appropriate. Okay, so you're not going to show a video that'll be geared towards middle school kids, but for high school kids, they've got all age appropriate stuff there.
Yeah, there used to be a place that you could go to, or there probably still is, where you could see like sex predators in your neighborhood.
Oh, you talk about like Megan's Law?
Yeah.
Megan's Law website's free, where you can go on there and you can see where they're all on the map and whatnot.
Okay, and is there some kind of protection that we can put on our kids' phones where it can screen for things that you talked about, like the secret apps?
Right. Unfortunately, I can't endorse any specific product or platform. The best place to go for that is going to be off of the National Centers. Actually, you can get it from our online safety. It's called netsmarts411.org. It's run by the National Center. You can go there and research your question, or you can email them your question, and within 24 hours, they get back to you. And you can ask them like, hey, what's the best monitoring app that I can put on my children's phone or on their...
I just want to post that to the chat. Is that netserve.org?
It's NetSmarts. Let me just double check, but it is, I believe, netsmarts411.org. NetSmarts, I believe it's 411. Let me just double check. Yeah, you can get it from Missing Kids. Yeah, the easiest way to find it would be to go to missingkids.com. Or I'm sorry, missingkids.org. That is the National Center's website. Yeah, I just did a quick Google search for NetSmarts 411 and it took me right to the National Center's website. And from there, you can ask them any type of question as far as, what type of, monitoring apps are out there. And they will send you a list of them to where you can do your own research as to which one you either want to download or purchase.
Okay, we had another question come in. Kids are often on group text chats if
Mhm.
cyberbullying happens on a
Yes.
group chat,
Yep.
are all of the kids culpable, even if they don't contribute
Well-
to the chat or respond in any way?
Okay, we've had that situation before in one of the high schools here in the county. And it all started with the school resource officer. He somehow or another, he heard through the grapevine that there was pictures being sent around in a group text. And the way he handled it was, if you were in that group text and you received it and you went and sent it on to somebody else, then you got in trouble. But if you received it, you attempted to delete it, you didn't forward it on, they were fine. Okay. The best thing to do is, if you encounter that your child has a sexually explicit picture of another student, something like that, go to the school administrator, tell them, make sure you get them involved. And the school in turn should then go contact the local police department and get them involved in order to get that content removed. And then also to find out where did it come from? Is this a bullying issue? Is this just a boyfriend girlfriend thing?
Yeah. Okay. We had another question about what schools can do. A lot of our students are on school supported devices.
Mm-hmm.
So is there like an extra layer of protection that the schools should consider?
Well, there are companies out there that schools can purchase their filtering apps, I guess, their filtering software. There's a company called, let me before I say that, we're not endorsing any specific company. I just happen to know of one that we get reports from. I believe it's called GAG. They basically are set up to where anything that gets sent using, your school issued device will get monitored. Okay. So if you're a student and say you email a picture of adult pornography, it will get reported. And then the school gets notified that this student using this device attempted to send this picture, that sort of thing. But like I said, I can't really endorse any specific product. I just know Gaggle because I see the reports that they submit to the National Center. But there is software, there are apps out there that, yes, schools can get to monitor their networks.
Okay. Then we had another question about apps not based in the United States, like
Yes.
TikTok.
Yes.
So
some of them are compliant. Okay. They are not required to because they are not based out of the United States. I would say a large majority of them are. Okay. And that's just because they don't want to get labeled as not being compliant. Okay. Once they get labeled that, and then, parents are constantly telling their kids to stay out of there. But the ones that are outside of the United States, and I will say, other countries have laws dealing with child exploitation. And we have a lot of international law enforcement to where if we have an issue, for example, KIC was the rage with kids probably 5 years ago. And we were having a terrible time with kids sending pictures back and forth. And then we had to deal with the adult predators that were going in there to where we were able to reach out to Canadian law enforcement. And they actually went to the company and said, look, you need to do something about this. Okay. You're going to end up getting a lot of bad publicity. And they are now compliant. But yes, some of these companies are compliant with our laws, even though they're in another country.
okay.
Well, on that same point, that's why I tell kids, I'm like, if these pictures end up on a server in another country, there is a strong probability that we are not going to be able to get that back. Okay. Because like I just said, other countries have different laws. So that's why they have to be very, very careful about what they are posting.
So what is your feeling about TikTok? Because so many of our kids are on that app, and
Yeah, I know TikTok's been in the news because of all the, you know, the hacking and whatnot and the spying. Honestly, I mean, my personal feeling, I'm not a big fan of it, you know. But you know, as I don't want to put it, being employed by the DA's office, you know, I can't endorse or, you know, promote any particular apps, but it's a situation thing to where each parent needs to make a decision as to whether or not they want their kids to be using TikTok. Yeah, that's a parenting issue there, you know, as far as whether or not to use it.
yeah. Okay, I think that answers all of our questions. Thank you
Okay.
so much
You're
for
welcome.
being here and for sharing your information
Yeah.
with us.
Not a problem.
I just wanted to remind the group that our next lecture is on, I believe, April 19th, or no, April 16th at 9 a.m. and we'll be addressing substance abuse. But thanks again, Nat. This was really
You're quite
great.
welcome. Not a problem.
All right, bye, everyone.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Oh, let's go to work.